Hey, American Keach, I'm here with another amazing client at East Coast Fitness, and this is Deborah Kidd. Deborah is here to share her story from where she was, what the process has been like, and the results that she's seen now, and it's been a really amazing transformation. So Deborah, thanks so much for being here, and what I want to do is I want to set the stage, and I kind of want to find out where you were before you started working at East Coast Fitness with Graham, and I want to know all the details before that, so fill me in.
Last year, I had a particularly bad year health-wise, and from the beginning of the year, I was at loads of doctor's appointments, hospital appointments, heart specialists. I was suffering from high blood pressure and palpitations, so they were trying to keep it under control with medication. Medication wasn't working. I was having to be fitted with monitors that I had to wear for 48 hours and things like that. So a bit scary, a bit unsettling. And my doctor was brilliant. You know, he trying to help me. I think in hindsight, I wasn't helping myself. And it got to the stage where we were towards the end of last year, October time, and I was so low and despondent, I think, about trying to get me health back and being subject to this medication that was making me feel awful all of the time. And the doctor basically said, Debbie, you need to find an exercise that you'd like to do. And I was horrified because I didn't exercise at all. I walked from my car into the office every day. That was a few meters and that was it. But I didn't actually, the thought of being in public and being active at the size that I was just the most embarrassing thing I could think of. So when he challenged me, and he was like, what about the gym? I'm like, no, I'm not going in there in front of people. We'll buy some exercise equipment. I live in a first floor flat. My neighbours are going to be disturbed by me, you know. And I'd suggested I would go walking, but only in the dark when people couldn't see me. And the doctor was like, you know, Deborah, people don't care. Just find something. And then I saw an advert for Graham and one of the programs that he did for women who were size 16 plus. So it just seemed like, it's going to sound cliche, but like a sign, because the doctor had challenged me. I was finding every excuse in the book not to do it. And then this advert popped up, and it's for people like me. It's people of my size with my problems. I'm going to be indoors. I'll be with people who won't care because they've got the same problems. So that's where it started, really. I rang Graham up and he was just so reassuring. So I was like, can people my size exercise? Will I be able to do it? Will I be okay? And he was like, absolutely, just come, see how it is, no pressure. And I did. So
Okay.
that was the start of it all.
So kind of like after you've gone through the part where you found out about it and everything and you get in there, kind of walk me through like what the atmosphere is like and how you're feeling, what the training is like there.
At first, it's a little scary, but as I say, you're with people that are like you, and I think what Graham's really good at is reassuring you that you can do it. It's a type of exercise I would have thought I could never do. It's high intensity training, so it's short bursts of high energy exercise, and just at the time I started, I couldn't even bend down and put my own shoes on. So the thought of being able to do some of the things he was encouraging us to do, simple things like, say, a push-up or a squat, things like that, he makes it so you believe you can and that you do it at your own pace. And then you can see the improvements in yourself when you actually when you do get better. And we'll have a laugh, to be honest, as well, because there were some exercises I couldn't do at first, but you're still encouraged to try it and give it a go, and it's not embarrassing if you fall on the floor. Well, maybe a little bit, but then you get up and you do it again and you see other people think, oh, they're giving it a go too, I can try. So
Okay. Is it kind of like as you go in, you get comfortable and you do a couple things there, is it, do you feel like kind of like a family? The other people around, is there a connection? Do you see and feel that there's a connection with everybody?
Yeah. I mean, I've done different types of training with Graham now. So the 16 plus was my starting point. I've done personal training one-on-one and also into his normal boot camps now. But if I'm talking specifically about the 16 plus, yeah, because you're meeting there before you start. Graham's there with the weigh-in. If you need that at first, you have a discussion about your nutrition as well. So before we even start the exercise, everyone's coming in asking what type of week have you had, and are you okay? And oh God, I'm nervous about doing this. Or you see a new face and you're reassuring other people. So there is a good all in it together atmosphere.
Okay. And did you, I know earlier, like you said before, that you were hadn't really done, like, you were nervous, right, going in,
Yeah,
and you,
yeah.
like, the doctors had challenged you and to do things, you're like, oh, I'm not even doing this. Did you even realize that now what you're doing, that you'd be able to do what you can do now, like before you started? Did you realize that?
No, I would have denied it to anybody if someone had told me that I'd now be exercising outside in public places, running up and down hills, on beaches where families are enjoying the sunshine and not caring what anyone thinks of me, even though I've still got quite a way to go on my journey. I think I'm just so proud of myself, and I know that when everyone else is exercising too, what you're concentrating on is yourself and not anybody else. So there's no embarrassment. It's great, but I would never have believed it.
Now, obviously, right, it's challenging, but, and it's pushed you to places which you never believed that you could do before. Is it fun in a way?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's some some sessions are harder than others, so
Mm-hmm.
some of them you just think, why am I here? But the sense of achievement afterwards is fantastic. Others, you're having a laugh from the word go, even though it's tough. And I think my mentality now is that it will never get easier, because I think if you go in thinking I'll conquer this, it's the wrong attitude. Once I had it in my head that actually it'll always be tough, but that's because I'm stretching myself every time. That's something Graham encourages you to do every time. He'll always say he'd rather you worked 100% and you had to give in after 20 seconds and have a quick rest than just do it half-heartedly and make it all the way through the session. So once my mentality was there that it's it's always going to be tough, but that's good because I'm pushing boundaries, I'm getting fitter all the time, then you do go in. It's tough but fun,
Mm.
I would say.
Okay, let's talk about more fun stuff. Let's talk about the results you've seen. Obviously, right, you're talking about how you didn't believe you could do all the things that you're doing now. Let's talk about, like, where were you before you started with Graham? Maybe some of the numbers and how you were feeling and emotionally, and where you are now.
Um, when I started, I was 2.5 stone heavier than I am now. Um, my waistline was 7 inches bigger than it was. My backside was 6 inches bigger. Um, those sort of things, I can't even believe the difference, because I know it sounds stupid. I can bend down and put my own socks and shoes on without being out of breath. I run up and down stairs now. Um, I just have a better enthusiasm for life, and I'm more capable of doing more things, but they're the simple things that I hadn't realised I couldn't do very well before. The size I was and my fitness levels were so bad that I just, I couldn't do day to day things, but I hadn't realised I'd stopped being able to do them. So now it's like a discovery. Other people take it for granted, running up and down stairs or putting their own socks on. But now I'm thinking, God, how did I get to that stage? So
Would you go as far to say that this has been a life-changing experience for you?
absolutely, because one, my blood pressure and my heart palpitations are under control within normal levels, which is something that the doctors and the specialists couldn't do for me. They did everything, um, over a period of nearly a year to help me out with the things they had at their resources, medication, etc. But just within 2 months of starting with Graham, my blood pressure was normal. The doctor was amazed, I was amazed, and that was before any sort of dramatic weight loss or anything.
Wow.
So yeah, it wouldn't be too much to say that it's been life-changing.
How does all of this, coming from when you started to where you are now, how does all of this make you feel?
Proud of myself, less embarrassed. I've just got a new zest for life back, that I can go out in public and not be embarrassed, that even when I'm doing something that I would have been horrified to do in the past, like exercising in public, just this sense of achievement and well-being.
Okay. And let's say someone is seeing this. Let's say they're in a very similar situation to where you were before you started there, right? Feeling
Yeah.
the same way, maybe having the same health issues, out of breath, just bending down, similar things like that. And they hear your story and they're thinking, maybe this is the place for me, but they're kind of on the fence. They're not sure. What would you want to say to somebody that's on the fence?
I know what that feels like. I know how hard it is to make the first step, especially when you're doing it on your own. And I would just say that you can't feel any worse than you do now. Staying as you are could be the worst thing that you could do. As hard as it would be to maybe possibly walk in a room full of people, be unsure of who you're meeting or what you're going to be expected to do, it'll be the best thing. Don't stay as you are. Just take that one little step, and you'll see what a difference it can make.
So, you talked about your results. You talked about all the really great things that you've seen. But what I want to do now is I want to find out a little bit about Graham. I want to find out who he is. Right? He's
Yeah.
obviously a trainer. He's helped you get there. But I want to know more about who he is as a person. So, give me a few words or phrases that describe the type of person that he is.
He's completely dedicated to what he does. He's enthusiastic. He knows his stuff. I've lost count of the amount of times he's drawn graphs for me when I've mentioned something. Like, will it be okay if I go out the weekend and have a drink, Graham? Well, yeah, but this is what alcohol's going to do to your body. So I get used to the graphs now. But he's funny, he's cheeky as well. You don't feel preached to. He really cares about your results. He's just a down to earth, funny family man who cares about getting people where they need to be.
Do you think you'd see the results that you have seen if Graham wasn't that way?
Possibly not, because I've done so many other things in the past, and just someone who you can tell's not there for the right reasons. Say if you're in a diet club and they're there because they're earning the money, or I've done every fad known to man, and it really helps when someone's there who genuinely cares, and you get that from Graham. I don't know how he remembers so many people's names as well. You can be at a boot camp with 30, 40 people, and you're trying to get away at the back of the class maybe with going a bit slower than you normally would, and you'll just hear your name being shouted. You're like, oops, he notices everything, but it's because he cares.
Okay. And then the last question I have is, since this has been such a massive shift for you and a life change, and I'm sure it hasn't just affected you, it's probably others have seen the results around you, family have noticed it's affected them. This has been a really big thing for you. So let's say that if Graham turned off all his communications, all the ways that you could speak with him, his phone, his text, let's say you could never talk to him again except for this moment right now, and that this is the last time. So if this is the last time you could ever say anything to him, what would you want to say?
I think just thank you with all of my heart, because I couldn't have done it without his support. And it genuinely has made such a difference to me and to my family and friends, because they feel like they've got me back, and that's down to him pushing me to be what I can be.
Great. Well, Deborah, thank you so much for coming on, sharing an amazing story from where you were in a short period of time to where you are now. And I really do just want to wish you the best of luck moving forward.
Thank you.
All right,
Thanks,
take care.
I appreciate it. Okay, bye.